Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And it's once again we're winding down this Sequel-A-Thon, and we have Timecop 2: The Berlin Decision, a movie that I first got wind of. It was, I don't remember what DVD it was, but they had a preview for it. It was one of the Fast and the Furious movies. I don't know. They had a preview for it, and I didn't have no idea what Timecop was. And then I finally watched Timecop. Loved the movie, my favorite Van Damme movie. And so, to finally watch this after all these years of seeing the preview and wondering what it was, I thought this movie was good. Just good. It wasn't fantastic, great, or very good. It was fine. For what it was. Not bad at all. Jason Scott Lee plays Ryan Chan. And the movie, the primary time area is 2025. So, 21 years after the events of the first film, which took place in 2004. 2025, and the villain here is Brandon Miller, played by Thomas Ian Griffith from Karate Kid 3. And he, so in the years after the first one, the TEC now works with a society or whatever it's called that are supposed to keep the TEC in line. One of those members of the society is Brandon Miller, who is going back in time and using it to do his own missions. And at the beginning of this, they go back and he's trying to kill Hitler, but Ryan stops him, resulting in the death of Brandon's wife. But Brandon is strategically still trying to alter the future, even though he is in a prison. He is escaped because one of his subordinates goes back and, you can't make contact with your younger self, which is the only instance when it's really brought up, because you cease to exist. The only problem is they did it wrong. Like in the original, when the McCombs touched, it was instantaneous. They morphed into a horrible CGI thing and then just melted. Here, they fuse together and it takes forever for them to die. And then they don't disappear. The remnants are right there. And yet, this takes too long. But Brandon going back in time and killing members of the TEC when they're young, they disappear and die instantaneously. And history keeps changing. Every time Brandon, they rapid fire this. In the first one, Van Damme kept going back, things would change, but this one is rapid fire changes. He keeps getting set back and then going back in time and set back to the future. And then things change where the guy in charge, I forget his name, has an eye patch now where he didn't before. The doc had a husband who died in the war, even though she wasn't married. And what war? They never mention it. It's very confusing. But the ending to this film is also confusing. So Ryan says that his dad died of an aneurysm when he was a kid. This aneurysm happened in 2002. How old is Ryan supposed to be here? In his 40s, maybe? They also have a younger version of Miller there, who's just Thomas Dean Griffith with a wig on. He doesn't really look much younger, but we find out that it was Miller who caused Ryan's father's aneurysm with some future technology. But it doesn't make any sense, because that would imply that all these events happened. The events that we see after this happened the way they were supposed to. But that doesn't make sense with the ending, because at the end of this, Ryan and Miller, they have a fight. Ryan gets the best of him, is about to kill him, but he sees his mother and his younger self, and the younger Sasha, that's Miller's wife, and the younger Miller, and he stops himself and he tells the younger Miller, "You can change this." And then they disappear, implying that Miller decided not to go through with this quest, seeing what it would do. The only problem is it also implies that this is exactly how history was supposed to happen, because Ryan's dad was supposed to, because Ryan's dad had the aneurysm, but it makes no sense, and history is back to normal. Although I don't know if Miller is even known at this point. I really don't know. We're not known for the same thing. I really don't know. I think as a villain, Miller does not live up to Macomb. I think Macomb is a better villain. Like, I don't know. And also, I felt that, like, the changes to the timeline was iffy. Because they're like, that guy dies from, excuse me for a lack of a better word, touching himself. And then all of a sudden, the guy that he brought in was no longer in prison. So that guy released Miller. But they say that that's the guy that helped them get Miller. So if he wasn't in prison, and then they didn't get Miller, so why was Miller still in prison? It doesn't make any sense. But it was a nice watch. It went by fast. The movie is 1 hour and 21 minutes. It's not that long. It's a nice little watch. It is rated R. It is nice little follow-up. I wouldn't mind having a double feature with this one and the original one. To be honest, I think it would be a nice double feature as a sequel. The original Van Damme movies have a history of having sequels without Van Damme in them, like No Retreat, No Surrender, or Bloodsport, or Kickboxer, or even the first two sequels to Universal Soldier were television movies without Van Damme in them. But I don't know. I think this is one of the better ones, I guess. I mean, it would have been nice to see Van Damme come back, but I guess they wanted to make a sequel, but it just didn't come through. There's really not much to say about this movie. There are some good fight scenes. It's Jason Scott Lee. He's a good martial artist, you know. Yeah, not much to say. This is a shorter review. Yeah, so I'm going to say when it comes to Timecop 2, it's the middle of the road. It's a middle of the road movie for me. Nothing bad really to say about it. Just, it's confusing at the end, but yeah. So, for the final movie in the Sequel-A-Thon, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you it's Lawnmower Man 2. And Lord help me if I can get through this. I hear this is worse than the first one. The first one was a guilty pleasure movie. I liked it. This one, I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. But what are your thoughts on Timecop 2? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you tonight.